Hey guys, welcome to the Stained Pages Pod,
where our books are loved
and our coffee is strong.
I'm your co-host Tiffanie.
I'm your co-host Maria.
And I'm your co-host Tamiko.
Ka! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right.
You out?
I'm gonna not talk the rest of the day after this.
You using your word count? Makai looked at me one day and was like, Tiffanie, you need a word count. He literally said that to me.
Instead of a step counter, it's a word counter.
Yeah, he was like, you need a word count because you go over it.
Honestly, though, this can be socially, draining.
In the best way.
Yeah, in the best way.
Not me. This just charges me.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad. Not me. I won't talk or do anything. Sometimes I feel really bad for Tiana, when I've had a bad day at work where I've just had a lot of, really rough interactions or tough interactions. I get home and I don't want to talk. And it's not because I don't enjoy being around her, want to spend time with her. It's just, my brain's fucking tired.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Understandable.
Especially because people are assholes.
Right.
People are
I got told I was Hitler the other day.
Oh my god, that is a crazy
because
comparison.
I was being insensitive.
What were you being insensitive about? What were you being insensitive about?
Homeboy had a toothache back in I don't remember, April or something.
Okay.
Was supposed to come back and have the tooth extracted.
He didn't come.
We gave him antibiotics. Take antibiotics, guess what? When you have an infection, it goes away. So your pain stops.
So he didn't
come back.
So he didn't come back. And then when he called, hey, my tooth hurts really bad. Yes, sir. I'm sure it does. But hey, guess what? I ain't got nothing for 3 weeks. It's what do you mean? What am I supposed to do? Should have made the appointment at the time.
Right.
That's not my fault.
No, it's not.
Not my fault at all.
No, it is not. Anyways, welcome guys to
back.
episode 6, I think.
This is 5.
No.
This
This
is 5.
is 6. We've
No, we
posted 2.
And then
We've filmed 2.
So what is that?
Oh, 5. I'm lost. Sometimes
The way she looked at me, she knew she was 100% correct.
See, I think what I was doing was I genuinely think I was skipping the number 4.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I think it's also hard because we film these so back to back.
Yes.
Trying to keep up.
Well, we're going to ignore that. I just did that. Anyways, we're talking about books we've read as a book club. Woo! We're going to be talking about The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, I think. Icebreaker by Hannah Grace and Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Those are the 3 books following the Heaven and Earth grocery store, which we talked about in episode 1. So if you want to hear all about that, go ahead and watch episode 1 if you haven't already. But following that book, it was Tamiko's turn to pick, and she picked The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. Take it away, Tamiko.
That book fucking rocked.
I enjoyed reading that book. It took me a hot minute to figure out what the hell was going on.
Right. Same.
But once I got into the pattern, I was like, oh, hell yeah. And I never felt like I knew which direction we were going to go.
Right, same.
You should also, we may need to say this every time, but
Spoiler
There might be
alert.
spoilers.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that book is one that would be so easy to DNF in the first 30 to 40% because it's confusing. You don't know what's going on and you're not getting any explanation, but it is one that does pay off when you do stick with it and read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a journey. It's definitely a mystery thriller type
a mind
book
fuck.
that I would go back and reread to see, oh my God, they said it right there and I missed it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's a mind fuck. And
No, it really is.
In the best way, though.
Yeah.
I
would love to see that turned into a movie. I think that...
Or a TV show.
Or,
It'd be a better TV
TV
show.
I think so,
show.
too.
That would be maybe a 1-season TV show where it's each episode is a day of him in a different body. If that makes sense.
spoiler.
Right, but we said spoilers.
I was just saying.
But yeah.
Okay, and I want to ask a question.
Okay.
As you were reading this book, what time period were you picturing?
I was picturing... Okay, I don't think this is going to make sense to you, but it will to you. Honestly...
I really like that she just used her foot.
I know,
to
too.
point.
I
in the nicest way. Keep your fucking feet away from me.
Okay. It wasn't anywhere near you. I was just pointing.
Care. I don't care. It was too close.
Talking
too close
about
for
your
comfort.
toes earlier, and I can't even point with my foot. Wow. Anyways, I honestly was picturing like the flashbacks in Vampire Diaries, like 1800s, like corsets, tight little big poofy dresses at the bottom.
Victorian era.
Yes, very Victorian era is what I was envisioning the whole time.
I was gonna say like the early 1900s.
Like genuinely, like the flashbacks of Vampire Diaries. That's what I was seeing.
Yeah, that's
which I
what
haven't seen. So
Right. That's why I was like, it's not going to make sense to you,
No.
but it would to her.
It's the same time period,
Okay.
almost. Like 30 or 40 years off.
The flashbacks are 1864 time
Oh, okay.
is when those are.
They go back several hundred years
Yes.
before then, too.
But
But
that
most of them are from the
specifically-
1800s.
yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I pictured, which is why the end of that book is
flashback?
so fucking wild.
Yes.
Why specifically would you say that?
Because the end of the book is they're basically in the fucking future from where we are now.
right.
Because it's
Okay.
a prison
Yes.
that his wife
Right.
was sent to.
Right. Mhm.
Wife? Yeah.
Yes.
Wife was sent to because of her bad behavior, and he decided that he was going to go like rescue her.
No,
Yeah.
she was killed.
Yeah, she
And
was. He was trying to
going
get the
after
murderer.
the girl.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Wasn't it the girl that was like he was like friends with and was like I need to protect her in the prison was actually who murdered his wife?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, big spoiler.
Yeah.
But that is what I was picturing. Like very
Especially because like they're
I
in
mean-
in my mind they're in a mansion.
right.
And in like the early 1900s and like late 1800s, that was like a big thing to show wealth, and that's where all of like the parties were held and everything.
Right. And very much my brain was envisioning the fashion of that time.
Yes.
My brain very much when I'm reading focuses heavily on clothing. Mm-hmm. Because I just love fashion. So I'm really envisioning these like extravagant outfits. Like
I was thinking top hats a lot.
right, yes,
Like the long
exactly.
coattails on people's suits.
Even like men wearing gloves because that used to be like a thing. Like
Like heels.
yeah.
Have you watched Tiana play Fallout 3?
I've watched Tiana play a lot of Fallout.
Okay. Have you ever watched her play the part in Fallout 3 where you get put in a pod and then you wake up in a different world? And in order to get out of said pod, you have to finish like some quests in this different world? No?
I feel like I've watched her do, and I don't know which game. That's the problem. Like
Oh.
I can't separate those in my mind.
Oh.
But I have watched. What I'm thinking, there's a room with a whole bunch of pods, and you can only get into one. And maybe these two things aren't even connected. But one of the things that she had to do, where she was doing a whole bunch of like quests to escape, there was a playground and a little girl.
Yes, and it was black and white?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
nice.
Okay, so that's what this book is like for me.
Mm-hmm.
That you were you didn't know you were in a pod until the very end.
Yeah.
And then you're out of it. And I was like, oh shit.
I think that this is definitely a book that I would enjoy reading.
Yeah.
Enjoy more the second time I read it.
Right. Same.
Oh, I was with it the whole time, but maybe that's just me.
Well, I mean, I really liked it the first time. I really, really do. But I think I would, like Tiffanie said, I'd be able to go back and pick up all of the subtle hints.
The other thing is, I haven't reread a book yet.
I've been rereading a lot of books from like my high school days, but not any of the books that I've read in the last 5-6 years.
My first full reread was Heavy as the Crown. Go read it if you haven't. It's really good. It's by Lindsay J. Anyways, me and Makai watched a movie once that was like these guys are like soldiers and they're in, I can't remember which war, if it was World War I or II. But these soldiers, you're following them and they end up at this like abandoned kind of like mansion and you think there's like ghosts and stuff. And then the movie ends with them in a simulation. They're like laying on tables and they're in a simulation and it was fucking bonkers. I mean, like there was like, they were trying to figure out, so I can't remember what it's called, so I can't tell you to go watch it, but I'm about to spoil it anyways. So like at one point they think it's ghosts because they keep hearing like tapping and knocking and it's one of them in the simulation using Morse code to tell them you need to get out of this. Like, you are trapped. You are in a simulation. You are being used for an experiment. And he's like using Morse code to try to get them to figure it out. It was the weirdest shit.
That would be a mind fuck.
It was. Like, me and Makai watched it and we were like, wait, what the fuck is going on? And like, I don't even remember liking that movie that much when we watched it, but it is something I think about frequently. Like, I am constantly like randomly like, wow, that's a good movie.
So like
Like, I'd rewatch.
Right?
like I don't know what category the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle falls into,
Okay, I can Google it for you while you talk.
but like the mind fuckiness of that is what that might be my favorite thing in books.
I think that would be
Yeah.
like a psychological thriller.
Yes
Yeah.
and no, though.
Yeah, psychological thrillers can be a little bit different. That's why I was like, I
So,
don't know.
This one genre on Google says mystery novel fiction thriller. So just a mystery thriller.
Okay,
I do
well.
think that has, in my opinion, I feel like it has a little bit of the psychological, not in the sense of like a psychological thriller, but maybe on the mystery side, it's like a psychological mystery
Yeah, I'd give
in the
you that.
sense
Yeah.
that he doesn't understand what's going on, and
I
like
also-
he keeps waking up in different bodies.
Well, and
like,
I also think one of the really cool connection points was like anytime he did something wrong, he woke up in the like horse stable in the body of the dude that had been beaten. So he not only woke up not knowing what the hell was going on, but also in extreme pain and not understanding. Like,
Yeah.
that was super interesting. That was a really nice way for the author to tie in.
yeah.
If
the
you
rotation.
like, these are older movies, so I mean, maybe people your age won't know it, but people my age will because I'm old.
I'm trying to decide if I know what you're gonna say or not.
Besides Star Wars, my favorite movie of all time is Shutter Island.
Oh, you talk about
With-
this all the
with
time.
Leonardo DiCaprio. And
For some reason, I thought you were gonna say Final Destination.
No.
Have you ever seen those movies?
no.
Me either.
Oh.
So anyway, if you like
good
Shutter
movies.
Island with
Haven't seen 'em
Leonardo
all.
DiCaprio and Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio, you will probably really enjoy this book.
Interesting.
Also, I really like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Didn't know that.
I think
He's a great actor.
I think he's the top male actor of our age.
Wow.
I mean,
Him,
I love The Great Gatsby.
him
with
in
him
the
in it.
Yeah.
him also in The Killer of the Flower Moon.
I have not seen him in much. I have seen
That's
him
because
in The
when
Great
he-
Gatsby and in the Romeo and Juliet that he's in, the version of that he's in.
That's because when he acts, he's so good. Like, he's not just trying... He's not a Kevin Hart who's... Ooh, this is a big diss. But who's just trying to
One.
get in every movie to make some money.
And he's the same every time.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
just a
always
funny guy.
just Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
No, Leonardo DiCaprio is so fucking fantastic.
He very
I
much
love him.
adopts
Yes.
the, like, his character.
Yes.
Like, becomes the character.
You all need to watch Shutter Island. It's rated
haven't
R.
watched that movie in so
You'll
many
see
years.
some penises, but
Interesting.
Not for me.
it's part. It's like for 30 seconds, and it's part of what's going on. It makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
My favorite
Just
male
saying.
actor is Woody Harrelson.
Oh, he's good.
He's in the Now You See Me movies,
Uh-huh.
and he is in one of the Venom movies, and he's also in one about Bonnie and Clyde. Everything I see him in, love it. I feel the same way that he can just adopt every single character he needs to play so well. He can be funny and goofy. He can be serious. He can be a villain. I love him. Oh my God. Like, anything he's in, I'm gonna love it. It's not off topic, actually.
No, it's not off topic.
But I
Nothing's
love
off
him
topic.
so much.
Okay, the
so
next
much.
book was Icebreaker, and I'm just gonna start. I
That was
hated
my
that.
pick. Why did you hate it? I went back to see what month we read that in our text, and you literally had sent a text saying, "Oh, I think I'm actually liking this book." So, did you actually hate
Really?
it?
She did?
Yes. So, did you actually hate it, or is that too strong of a word?
I was saying what I rated it. I gave it a 3 stars, so clearly I didn't hate it that much.
Right.
I just did not like the smut in it.
And that is still such a
Did you
low
think-
smut book,
Did you not like how much it was, or in particular what it was, in the sense of like,
Can I say both?
yeah,
Okay, so both.
okay. Yeah, that's one of the lower, like, I wouldn't say it's one of the lower smut books I've read, but it's not the most. Like, it's probably in the middle for me.
Yeah.
But
Which is so
recently I
wild.
haven't been reading books with very much or any at all. Because
How
sometimes...
can you find... So I'm curious. Can I just Google, like, smut level of said book?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also,
You all talk
people
about
who
Icebreaker.
say
I
that...
think on a scale of
It's
1 to 10, how
our-
much
it's-
smut?
People who say that, it is definitely like personal based though, because someone who reads like 50 Shades of Grey and books like that are gonna say Icebreaker is probably a 2 or 3 out of 5 on a spice level.
Yeah.
For someone like you, that's a 5, and that's totally fine.
Completely valid. Completely valid.
I think for me that was probably a 4. Like, it was up there, but it's not the most I've read. But I can understand if you didn't like it in the sense of like you felt like there was no connection between the two characters and it felt purely physical based, because I have rated a book low because of that reason.
because there's no emotional connection.
Because I felt like all they wanted to do was fuck and they didn't actually like each other as a human being, and I don't like that in books.
Yeah.
So
I said agreed.
so I feel like if that's your reason, that's like valid. Like, not everyone
That
you're
was
not
my reason. It also, like,
you're not always gonna feel
was
the
a
attachment.
Hallmark movie, and I don't really like Hallmark movies.
I'm the only
that's
one
all.
here that does. This author, I have 2 books by her. She is sending me a book soon.
Wow.
She sent me the other 2.
I'm not famous.
But this book is being turned into a Hallmark Christmas movie this year. Like, it's coming out in November.
The one that she's sending you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so excited to read it and then watch the movie, because I do love Hallmark movies. I am much like my mother in that way. I think what really made me grow to a person loving Hallmark movies is specifically the period of time when we were living with my grandma in that house. My mom and grandma would always watch Hallmark movies no matter what time of year. And at that point in time, I'm in middle school. Like, I might have been in 5th grade. I was spending a lot of time with them,
Yeah.
and I would watch so many with them that then I just fell in love with them. But I've also just always been like a cheesy, little hopeless romantic person, and the Hallmark movies really scratch that part of my brain.
I feel like Icebreakers was very predictable, which we've talked about this before. Not something that I enjoy. I did really like the beef factor between Mr. Hockey Man and her like figure skating partner. How that played out, that was pretty interesting. But in terms of both main characters, it was way too predictable. It wasn't a bad book.
I think I really enjoyed the couple. I know her name is Anastasia, however you say it. I can't remember his name right now, but I really liked the couple and I liked the story. It's not something that I think it hasn't like stuck with me. It's not something I think about frequently. Like,
Update, I couldn't find it.
You can,
Go ahead.
that's something you could look up on TikTok, and I'm sure people would have it on TikTok, like their opinion.
Well, I'll
but
do that later.
But yeah, I mean, it's not something that's stuck with me. Like, even like, I'll think about it here and there if I hear something that reminds me of a certain scene. But like, The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood is something I read so long ago, like probably a year and a half ago, and I still frequently think about our main couple just because I think about them, because I loved them. So it's not like the best romance book I've ever read, but like, I enjoyed it and I will continue the series.
yeah. Just a little funny thing. When I Googled Icebreaker, there's a Reddit post that pops up and it's like, it just sounded like a silly teen romance book. Apparently not.
No, I don't know if you've seen this, but like, a lot of parents have posted that like their kids have picked it up because the cover is like cartoon and it looks like a kid's book, but it's not. It has a lot of sex. Like, I've seen so many things of people being like, my little sister came home with this book and she's in like 4th grade, and it's like, what? And I saw someone recently say that they think how Nathan, that's his name.
Hawkins.
That like how movies have an age rating, like E for everyone, R, whatever, that books should have that on the cover. And I agree. I think like in one of the corners, just make it little and put what the rating is, like a movie.
I also think, though, that parents should do their due diligence.
Oh, well, yes, I agree.
Like, and also, that book is found in the romance section. So,
Right. But I agree with the rating thing in the sense that the Boys of Tommen series which the first one is Binding 13. Those books are young adult, but I don't think they should be in young adult. They're definitely new adult. They're not quite adult, but they're not young enough for young adult. They don't. Okay.
I got very confused.
Listen, my reasoning is because although they are a young adult book, and I've only read the first one and then about 30% of the second because I got in that slump and I put it down, there hasn't been any sex scenes, but our main characters, especially the boy, talks very heavily about how he wants to have sex with her and how he's turned on by her and that he masturbates, and it's like, I don't think we need that in a book that's considered young adult. That to me feels like maybe you're 16 and up, not 10, 11, 12.
I do also feel like the whole category of young adult has changed so much in recent years.
Which is why new adult has been like become a thing recently.
Yeah.
Because so many young adult books are on that cusp of like, this might be not good for readers that are a little bit younger.
Right, might be inappropriate for a 13-year-old, but for a 17-year-old.
For a 15, 16-year-old, then maybe it's fine.
Yeah.
I just think it gets a little sketchy if we start telling people what books they can and cannot read.
I agree.
What do you mean in that sense? I'm confused how we got to that point.
Because that's what you're saying when you're putting a rating on the book.
Well, no, because you can still choose to read it. It's just like an advisement of like, this book contains this type of content that would be more suitable for this age.
I get that, but that is subjective.
Right.
But it's the same thing with movies, though. Like,
it's the same. That's what I'm saying. It's the same thing with movies.
No. There's categories that movies have to benchmarks that movies have to hit in order to get said ratings. You could do that on books if you want, but just because a book, like, I think the rule is if a movie says fuck 3 times, it has to have an R rating.
Okay.
A book could say fuck 3 times and we'd have to give it an R rating.
But doesn't have any sex in it.
Right.
Okay,
Or
but maybe
it
not
feel like the
go off
standards-
the same metrics.
Yeah,
but
the
like,
standards would be different for books, for sure.
If a book that's young adult that does talk about sexual things, I don't think that it shouldn't be allowed for a certain age group. I think it should have explicitly said somewhere that it has these type of things in it so that if a parent knows my child is not mentally ready for this at this age, then that's fine. I was so innocent for so long. If I would have read that at even 14, oh my dear God, I would have literally been like, what the fuck is happening?
I can see authors
Don't
wanting...
sing about sex.
Like, I could see where it would be beneficial for authors to put, like, on the back cover underneath the synopsis, like, hey, by the way, because if you just read the synopsis on the back of the book...
It's almost like the trigger warning thing.
Right.
Nobody's responsible for if you read a book and it has one of your triggers in it, but let people know so that they can avoid it if that's not something they want.
Right, because with icebreakers, specifically, if you picked it up and read the back of the book, you're going to have no idea.
Yeah.
That those kinds of things are
It's just as
content
simple
within.
as front page where people put, like, trigger warnings, just put... this book involves explicit scenes, or this book talks heavily about this. Because, again, as a 14-year-old, personally, I would not have wanted to read anything about masturbation or sex because I was so innocent. But maybe you at 14, that would have been fine.
And I also understand...
It's very personal.
Right, and I also understand what you're saying, Tamiko, about how parents also need to take responsibility of that, too. Because, yeah, if you're sending your child into a bookstore, they're going to the young adult section. Mm-hmm. They're assuming that they're picking something that's going to fall within their age range or what they're mentally capable of handling.
Right,
but
so that's why I'm also saying having that on there for parents to see could be helpful.
Yeah. And that would be a good, easy reference point. But at the end of the day,
to be like,
parent
oh, okay,
needs to be
this
making
says
sure that they know what their kids are doing.
It has this. Maybe look into it so I can see if if they're ready to read something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, it'd be like, do you think your 10-year-old, almost 11-year-old would be ready to read that type of book? Because that's in the section of her age right now.
I mean, that age falls within young adult.
Right. Yeah.
Let me Google it.
Young
Maybe it
adult
starts at
is
13.
Maybe that's just like a personal opinion, but I feel like 10-year-olds
yeah.
have no business
Also-
browsing the young adult section.
Okay, so do you think your child would be ready to read that at 13 when they are a teenager? Like, yes, you obviously have conversations with her about those things. Like, I know that you have.
Let's also just say
But
you have no
also-
background knowledge of what this book has.
But also, do you think she, at that age, so within the next 2 years, would be ready personally to read that type of thing? Even if, again, I don't know if there's any sex scenes in it because I've only read that first one, but it does heavily talk about sexual related things. And talks about, like, he talks about masturbating, like, not while he's doing it, but, like, we talk about those things.
Right.
So, like...
Would I want my child to read something like that? No.
Okay.
But...
So that I feel like you kind of agree.
I agree. I just think we need to be careful about telling people what they can and cannot read.
I mean, I'm not saying it's can and can't. I'm saying we just put some advisement on what's inside of it.
Right.
Not like
to make
oh,
people
if
aware.
you're this age, you can't read it. It's like, okay, this is most suitable for this age group. Because, yeah, I don't know. Like,
I also know that most kids my daughter's age have a very different life than my kid's age.
Yeah.
So...
I mean,
I'm trying
your
to-
child at
okay,
13
so-
might not have any exposure to something like that, whereas somebody else's child at 13
Yes.
has
So-
an overabundance of exposure.
Correct.
this says young adult genre is 12 to 18. That is too big of a gap to me
Damn,
for
Tamiko,
young adult.
We're way too old to be
is
reading young adult books.
That is 1 year away for your child, your oldest.
2.
She's almost 11.
Shut up. I'm not
No, she's
talking
not.
about
She
it.
She's
is
not,
turning
Tiffany. What are you talking
11
about?
in less than 3 months.
Also, how wild
don't
is it
believe
that I
that.
met your oldest child when they were 5?
That is weird.
I'm not
I've
talking
never thought
about
about
this.
that.
I'm not talking about
I was in
this.
6th grade.
Okay, so anyway, Dark Matter by
That
Blake
was
Crouch.
Such an abrupt stop to that conversation. That was... We just went on a whole tangent on that.
We did. That was rough.
That's okay. It was rough. Why do you
Because
think
it was unhinged.
it was a little unhinged.
When are we not unhinged?
So unhinged professional yapper.
Correct.
Okay.
Yapper rapper. Unhinged professional
Yapper
rapper.
Yes.
Okay. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This was Maria's second pick, where she redeems herself.
I did.
in
Thank
the
goodness.
storyline of our book club.
Yes.
Go off.
And
I
Tamiko
loved
watched the
this
first
book.
episode of the
I
show
know, I'm
without
still kind
me
of
and
upset
Maria.
spaghetti about that.
Let it go.
I don't know. I
Pull
loved.
up Frozen and chill.
I won't. That
Can
was
I-
lame.
Can I go now?
Yep.
Are you guys
You
done?
have the floor.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what it's like to get interrupted a million times. Go ahead.
No, you would have no idea.
Not a clue.
But Dark Matter, really, really loved that book. Really, really liked that book. I loved how fast of a read it was because not only was it an easy read, but the storyline itself just went so fast. But the whole time you're enjoying every single second of it. You're not like, you're questioning things, but it's also giving you the answers that you need as you go. It just, I don't know. I still can't believe how much that book fucked with me. Because I never, like, people always talk about, like, string theory, line theory, whatever it's called. And that's exactly what this is, where every single decision you make has a counter,
Like the
action
butterfly
to it.
effect.
Yes. And this provided me with such a real conceptual, like, vision of what that looks like. And I don't know. I have recommended that book to many people. The 2 people that I know that have read it have also thought that it was really good, and it was a mind fuck. Like, it makes you think. Makes you think about your life and reevaluate some of your...
Well,
like,
yeah. The butterfly effect is so crazy. Like, me and Makai talk about it so frequently. Like, it's the littlest thing of, like, if Makai's mom... If when Makai was deciding not to join the Marines, if his mom wouldn't have interfered and given his phone number to an Air Force recruiter, our life would be so different right now. We would have never went to Alaska. We probably would not have Elijah. I wouldn't have met Tiana if her husband did not get injured in Ranger School and got sent to Alaska. And, like, if Isaiah would have never looked at you in whatever grade you were in, because how old were you? What grade was
I
that?
was in my second year of college.
Oh, you were in college?
Yeah.
Why did I think that happened in high school?
It didn't.
Wow. Okay, but if he would not have looked at you and been
Actually,
like, if you...
he texted it to me.
Oh, okay, so if he wouldn't have sent that text
Dang.
message...
Because I was in Oklahoma.
Okay, so if he wouldn't have sent that text message saying, if you break up with me one more time, I'm not getting back together with you, where would you be right now? What would you be doing? Who would you be with? Would you be with anyone? You'd have different children if you were with someone else. It's so crazy.
I mean, every little single decision, every little interaction that you have with somebody, like, just affects every aspect of your life.
Yes, it's crazy.
And that's one thing that I really enjoyed about Dark Matter is they're in this box, and at the end of the book, they finally
literal box.
literal box,
A literal box, guys.
and towards the end of the book is when they finally realize, oh, it's what I'm imagining in my head. That's what door is going to open, and that's how they end up he ends up getting back to his actual family and all of that stuff. But thinking about how we have to
multiverse.
Yes. Like, we have to be so mindful about every decision that we make, because if we want to continue on the same path without a huge veer, you got to be careful.
yeah.
And you have to be, it's just, I don't know.
My anxiety raising.
No, same.
Same.
Our heart rates are all just...
Tiffany, how's your chest?
Okay, I'm feeling fine, but now that you brought it up, give me 2 minutes and I'm going to think it's hurting.
I apologize.
It's fine.
But I'm
No,
really...
that is a theory that seriously intrigues me so much. Like, if there is any type, like, is that like science-y, like the butterfly effect? Is that kind of like science-y? I don't know. That is one theory that I think of like at least once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, like, there is just...
And I go down a rabbit hole.
There's just millions of us living in alternate universes,
yes.
living completely different lives.
There's so many possibilities.
This is why multiple authors should write.
Oh my God, we're not going back to this.
No, but in this instance, though, I would love to read a different author's perspective about how they
Of
view
Dark
the
Matter.
about how they view the multiverse. Yeah, not even necessarily the same story as Dark Matter, but just how they view the multiverse and how they turn it
The
into a
female
fiction book.
character.
Yes, the
When
one who
he
just
leaves
goes
her
off and on her own. Like, where the hell is she at?
Right.
Also, and at the end of the book, letting the sun decide what their reality is. I want a book number 2 from the sun's perspective.
Yeah.
You could have 2 other books just from 2 other characters in that.
Correct. I don't know. It's really good.
It was really interesting. I mean, it's not my typical book, so it's not like something that I like think of frequently that I'm like, oh, that was like my favorite book ever. But like, it was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was like definitely something out of my comfort zone that I was like, oh, hey, like maybe I would like this genre. Why are you staring at me like that?
Because your hair is just so perfect. Sorry.
I know.
Oh, is it? Thanks. Oh, thanks.
You know, if I tried to do
The
that
way that
hairdo,
my-
it would
I
look
know.
rough
You
as
should have
hell.
seen it this morning when it was down. I was like, my hair is like looks crazy. I'm just gonna put it in a bun and recurl my front pieces.
Literally the perfect curl.
Right.
Oh,
That's
what I was
thanks.
looking at.
Hey,
I was just
thanks.
like,
I was like, was she gonna say something? Because I thought you had looked at me to like tell me like, hey, you can start talking, and then, but I was like, why is she still staring at me? Did I interrupt her?
Anyway, so after the rough start of our book club, we hit, for me, 2 bangers.
Yeah.
No
I think
pun
when
intended about icebreakers.
I think when the way that you guys keep putting an S at the end is so funny.
Of what?
Icebreaker. It's just breaker.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, me too. I thought it
I
was
know.
plural.
Every time you said
Since
it,
they're
in my-
breaking things
in my
multiple
mind,
times.
in my mind, I was just like kind of chuckling. I was like, nah, they're adding an S.
S for sex.
Okay. All right. I think when I
I
finished
don't know that you
Powerless,
needed to do that.
Did I need to do anything in this podcast? No, not really.
okay, so get out. I'm just kidding. That was kidding. Hey, that was a joke. And I also meant it as like, you did need to do it. That just did not come across how I meant it to.
No, not even close.
That was not how I meant that. I promise.
I'm offended for you.
Oh
Thank
my God.
you.
I really didn't mean it like that.
Listener questions.
Wait, I actually feel bad.
Don't feel bad. It's not that
I was
deep.
kidding. I don't
Listener
know if I have
questions.
any left. I might just have to come up with some off rip.
There is no way we've done all the listener
A
questions.
lot of them were very similar to each other.
That doesn't mean they're the same.
Yeah.
Similar is not same.
Might have different answers. You never know.
Correct.
Dream job.
Ooh. My grandma literally asked me this like last week, and she was like, if you were going to change careers and could do anything that you wanted, what would you do?
What would you do?
I don't feel like I have a career path that would make me happy for the rest of my life. Like, there's nothing that stands out that's like, oh, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, like a travel agent. I don't know.
But it could be something that you love that you would love to turn into a career. Like, it doesn't have to be traditional.
I feel like if I had the ability, I would just like to try everything.
I mean, slay.
You know? Like Mike Rowe on Dirty Jobs, except without the dirty part.
Okay. I mean, slay.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
To spend 10, 15 years just trying everything out.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's fun.
What about you?
Well,
are you living your dream job?
kind of. The other thing that I want to do is flip houses.
Yeah. I feel like you would make a really good interior designer too.
Thank you. I think I would as well.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
What happened to not being able to take compliments?
No. Okay.
I mean, the sass.
No,
Right.
listen. It's like, I'm so confident in myself in decorating that I'm like, yeah, I know. Thank you. Like, I can be very confident in that. Because I know that I do a good job.
Not in your YouTube channel?
Right.
Sorry, this is a callback to last episode.
A couple episodes ago.
I think it's different in the sense that I have known that I wanted to do interior design. Like, I've known I wanted to do YouTube for years, but in high school, I was like, when I thought I was going to college, that's what I was going to go for. And I also think that it's a little bit of my clothing and fashion teacher being a bitch my senior year and telling me that if I don't go to college, I won't ever be successful. Makai's not going to fulfill me forever. That now I'm like, see me now, bitch. And I know that I will be successful doing something with interior design without getting a college degree because it's not necessary.
Right.
I feel very strongly about the college topic.
Same. College is not for everybody.
No.
And that's perfectly fine.
I also think they need to stop pushing it in high school that you need to go right when you graduate. Not everyone is ready to enter college right away.
Not even.
It's expensive. And I think going to college undecided for most people is a mistake.
It is.
Because you're wasting money and you might drop out. I know so many people that I went to high school with that have dropped out of college. And it's like, if you would have just waited 1 or 2 years, figured out what you really wanted to do with life and then went, you might not have. If you know you want to be a doctor in the medical field, a lawyer, go. That's a lot of school. Get your ass in there, get your work done. But if you don't know, don't go.
Yeah.
And also, yes, you can get a degree for interior design. I don't think it's necessary. Yes, it can be helpful, but also you can take classes online.
Right.
And you can do your own work, buy a book that teaches you design theory, and do it on your own.
Well, and even then with a lot of those things, especially like interior design, if you have a strong enough portfolio where you can prove that you know what you're doing and are good at it, people aren't going to care that you have a diploma shoved in some box in a closet.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think some things, yes, I think you can get better at like almost anything, like practice makes perfect, but some people have a talent for certain things.
Yeah.
I think Isaiah and Makai have the talent to be in the medical field and help people and do that. And I genuinely believe that I have a talent for decorating, whether I'm doing it right now or not. Like, that's just, Tiana should be doing art.
yeah.
Like, she should be drawing, painting, making murals. She has such a talent for that.
When you're watching
I'd be
this
trying.
when you're watching this episode with her, I need you to record her reaction.
Okay.
Okay.
Like,
Thank you.
and I don't know exactly what you should be doing, but like,
I think Tamiko would make a great therapist. No, I really do, because you get so involved in the people, you get so involved in the lives of people that you genuinely care about. And I realize therapists would be a little bit different than that because you can't be biased. Like, you have to keep all of that out. But you also are so great at staying unbiased in hard situations and providing people with alternative like options and things that they could do in bad situations. You're also a great listener.
this
You know,
is going to
like-
sound confusing, but I just think something with your voice.
Yeah.
Not like a singer, but like
Inspirational speaker.
you are very passionate about politics and things like that. That like, maybe I don't necessarily think you should be a politician, but like you just have a way about when you speak.
Like a social advocate.
Yeah, something like that. Like working with people, but not how I think Makai and Isaiah do. Like Makai doubts himself all the time getting into like a nursing or PA program, and it's like, dude, you're made for this. Shut up. You're smart. Just shut up. Like go do your thing. Like you're just very. It's like I can't even think of the word I'm looking for.
Well, thanks for that. I'm in a weird phase of life right now where I thought I was doing my dream job and it ended real bad, and I don't have that dream anymore, and I don't know that I have a dream anymore other than having a job that helps provide for my family and also the free time to like live a life, to be able to read books and go to soccer games and do things with my kids and pay off debt and save some money. I appreciate the compliments.
You're welcome, of course.
But
And it's okay that you don't know. You're only 31.
3?
You're 33.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
That's right, you just
22.
turned
Oh my God. If you were 20 or 31, I would only be 20. So I don't know why. It's like I'm aging myself in my mind, but nobody else. Like
Correct.
the other day,
That's how
Tiana
I
was
work.
like, yeah, isn't Tiana like 28 or 29? And I don't even, how old is Tiana?
29.
She said that. She was like, isn't Tiana 29? Because Brooklyn just turned 29. And I was like, no. She's like 26. What are you talking about? Like, I genuinely was like, no, she is not 29.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't age anybody else but me for some reason. Anyways. I was going to say something else, but I don't even remember what I was going to say.
I don't know. At the end of the day, as long as you're being like a good human,
I remember what I was going to say.
and you're living a life that you're proud of and that you enjoy and are genuinely happy in, who gives a fuck if you have an actual career by that term? You know? Who cares?
I also... I'm going to talk about Gilmore Girls for a second. Not going to go into much detail because I know you're not at this point in the show, which we need to watch it soon. Anyways, I think Lorelai is such a good role model in the aspect of like she is in her 30s and she's not doing her dream job. And like trying to think what I can say. I think she's just a good role model that like you don't have to just have it all figured out in your 20s.
Oh, I don't disagree with
No, I
anything
know. I'm
that's
just
being
saying,
said.
like, sometimes things change, or sometimes it happens later. It happens for everyone at the right time. I genuinely believe that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I sit and think, like, oh, what if I wouldn't have stopped doing YouTube when I was pregnant and I would have kept going for those 9 months? But then I'm also like, but if I would have done that, maybe I wouldn't have started book videos. And that quite literally changed the whole trajectory
It's
of my
almost like
channel.
she's famous.
Oh my God.
I think maybe just a little.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay.
We're running long again, but that's okay.
We can run long. That's fine.
Well, your timer also kept going when we had to like...
Right.
No, I stopped
We had
it.
the
Oh, you
bam.
did? Okay.
Just pick one.
Dude, we've answered a lot of these. A lot of these are literally people asking basically the same question, just worded differently.
I think we might have to reach out and see if we can get some more questions then.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you
this
find just
says
one more?
What each... Whoa. That's not English. Well, it is, but it wasn't correct English. What do each of you mainly read? Do you lean more YA or adult? I think we can also go into that on a genre aspect.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know that there is a true genre that I always like lean towards. Like I'm pretty much down to read anything.
I don't really have a line between adult and YA. I've read both. I enjoy both.
Same.
There's really good in both.
Yeah, and,
And
really,
really
bad in both. Pumpkin spice and everything nice.
I like fantasy. I like
Slid that one in
sci-fi. I like mystery thriller. Star Wars, whatever.
I like to keep it pretty broad.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like to narrow it down because I don't want to be closed-minded. I want to be able to enjoy
Maria is the most close-minded person I know.
Probably.
I'm just kidding.
Actually.
It is a joke.
I definitely read mostly romance,
We know.
but it's not really intentional. It's just kind of like what happens.
Yeah.
But I do also read quite a bit of fantasy. Most of it has romance in it. Not all of it. Not all of it, but most of it does have romance in it also. But a romantasy just hits every fucking time, let me tell you.
Just checks all your boxes.
It's like, there's this thing that I've seen people say, and it's like, subplot of romance in a fantasy book will always be a standalone romance book. And it's true. Because there is just something about when there is some shit going on in this fantasy world and people's lives are in danger, or maybe they are like quite literally enemies. Like this one I'm reading, she's a witch, he's a demon. They are enemies. And yet, the tension, the things that he does for her that she don't even like think twice about. And it's like, girl, open your fucking eyes. Man's love language has got to be acts of service, because the things he is doing for you that you're not noticing, come on. Like, that book had like no romance in it, and yet I was eating the crumbs. Literally. Eating the crumbs. Doing the motion of eating the crumbs.
That's
Oh,
funny.
goodness.
The way that I don't even remember what question I asked, but
What genre?
oh, right. Yeah, I answered that.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I don't know which I read more, YA or adult. I feel like I read pretty evenly both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say too.
I mean, like when I walk into a bookstore, I'm not immediately going towards a specific
Right.
shelf.
I
Like
feel
I
like-
want to walk up and down and find books everywhere.
Find the one that smells the best. Just kidding.
Smells the best, looks the best.
I feel like most of the like fantasy series I've read have been young adult. I think young adult fantasies just are so good.
The ones we've read anyway.
Yeah. But I feel like most of the series I've read that are romance series are adult. So I think, I don't know. Maybe I read more adult romance and more young adult fantasy. Maybe. I don't know. That's that though.
Okay. Well,
That is that.
Thanks for joining us on another Stained Pages podcast.
Where we yap
And
off
kick-
topic, but apparently according to Tamiko, it's still off topic.
You mean
I
on
mean,
top-
I mean on topic. Listen, I'm getting tired.
Me too.
Yeah.
And we're kicking off your weekend great here on this Friday.
Slay. Woohoo.
So, peace out.
Stay
Love y'all.
tuned for the next one.
Tiff's gonna post on Instagram to get some more listener questions.
Yes.
Ask us about whatever you want.
Yep.
Okay, bye.
Peace, woe, slay.